Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Busy Woman Diaries. I am so sorry that I didn't upload last week, and I'm barely doing this week. So this is like a combined episode of 4 and 5 because I've had the busiest 2 weeks of like my life. I'm not gonna lie. Last week I don't remember. I was working and I impulsively went to go see Charlie XCX with my sister in Austin. Drove back like super late. Joel. Then I've just been working and then I had a pageant to go to on Saturday, which I came back super late too. Like I was just in San Antonio the other night because I took my friend to the airport in the morning and I didn't get back till yesterday and I was tired and all this crazy stuff because I've also been kind of lazy a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, which I hate. I also got a new dog. This is Joel. Say hi. Oh, he bit the microphone. Sorry. He's my only boy, and I named him Joel after Joel Miller in The Last of Us to avenge him. Speaking of, whoever does watch it, this guy's crazy. Stop, babe. He's insane. Anyway, Joel, I hope you guys have been keeping up with The Last of Us because if you haven't, I don't know what else are you doing because I can't. I'm waiting for Sunday's episode. But if you haven't watched it, don't watch this because there's a spoiler, and I don't want any more people complaining about spoilers when this game has been out for over a decade, and it's like it's the same thing. I'm sorry you're not cultured and you didn't play the game, but please don't say anybody's spoiling anything for you. Anyway, um, yeah. I still am completely devastated about Joel's death, even though I am aware of I knew what was going to happen before. But Bella did a great job at playing Ellie with their cries were amazing. Pedro did just as an amazing job. Um, what's his name? What's his real name? Gabriel Luna, who plays Tommy. He's doing great. They're all doing great. It's a great show and it's amazing. And I can't wait for episode 5 on Sunday. I think it's 5. I also recently watched Sinners yesterday. Great film. It was amazing. What do you want? Great film. It was amazing. That's been like the update of like these past 2 weeks. They've been, I've been kind of all over the place to be honest, and I was like, I need to get this done honestly, before 6:30 because I have a hair appointment and then I have things. I'm going on a date afterwards, so I need to do that. So today's title is your our craziest relationship, situationship, whatever you want to call them. I don't care. Talking stage, marriage. And yeah, I was supposed to do it with my friend, the one I dropped off at the airport, but we got a little too crazy at dinner. And when we came back, we just fell asleep. So I will do another episode when she comes back at the end of May. I will do an episode with her, but I think I have like a fair share of crazy stories that, I can keep you guys pretty preoccupied. So let's get started. Also, we're in my bedroom because I don't want to be outside. It's like windy and sunny, and then it's cloudy, and it's also muddy because it rained last night, and it's supposed to rain tonight too, or all week actually. So, first story we're starting off with, and there's gonna be multiple, people I'm talking about. So one of them, I think I kind of already mentioned him, but so this is like just one crazy wild. It could be anything crazy, cringy, funny. It wasn't funny at the time, but now that it is. Um, so I met this guy on Tinder. First red flag. Um, he lived about like 45 minutes from where I lived, and he had first thing he mentioned, and I had already known was he had a son. Second red flag. Third red flag, he was in the army. So we talked and we went on a date. Fourth red flag is I would make the drive over there most of the time. Anyway, I think after like a month, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I honestly don't really count it because it was stupid. And he, proceeds to tell me that he requested to be like moved out to El Paso, which is where his son is, to be closer to him. And I was like, oh yeah, like that totally makes sense. It does not. It didn't. I told people this and they were like, you can't do that. And I was like, oh, okay. Um, so before everything that kind of went down, one time he was out and he was drunk and I didn't hear from him for hours. Like turned out he got so wasted. He got arrested for like public intoxication. That could be a lie. That could be a lie. But yeah, that's another red flag. Guys, don't get with people who can't handle their alcohol. It's It's annoying. It's annoying. It really is, especially at their grown age. Anyway, fast forward, the time comes. It gets approved that he's going to El Paso. I'm a crying mess because I'm like, well, we have to break up. Like he did it. He wanted to break up. He didn't want to do long distance, which should have been like another like, that's weird. That's odd. Anyway, um, I found his Facebook and I requested him and he accepted it, right? But before I like scrolling, like just, being a little stalker girl, trying to like just see like, oh, his old, just see memories. I end up seeing, I don't know why he didn't take this off of his timeline, but I find tagged pictures of him at his baby shower about like a month before we started talking, or like actually a couple weeks before we started talking. And yeah, the reason he was moving and didn't want to be with me is because he was having another baby and didn't tell me. So I texted him and I was like, "Are you having another baby?" And he was like, "I was gonna tell you. This is like what I was gonna tell you." And I was like, "Well, tell me. Like what?" And he wasn't answering me. And I was like, "I'm literally gonna message your baby mama and figure out what is going on because this is crazy. Like I feel bad. I had no idea about any of this." And yeah, but yeah, that's like moral of this, like that's it. That's all that happened. Like yeah, and we never talked again. Actually, after this last breakup of mine, he did come back. Like, and I was just like, I don't see you like that anymore, actually, like at all. Like, you're cool to like hang out with, like as a friend, platonic, but like I don't see you, I don't find you attractive anymore, nothing like that. You can send me money though. And he did. And he removed me because he had me on TikTok. He was always like stalking my TikTok. He removed me off there, so I figured he's, back with his baby mama. So that's one story. So this section of like the video is like kind of discussing why did I even date whoever I dated? Because everybody has their own reasons as to why they date somebody, whether it's like money or other stuff, like, and none of my reasons were like because of money, like it was just because I was stupid. But so the first guy, I guess I dated him because honestly, I can't even give you an answer because looking back on it, like it was so like, what? Why was I driving to you? I remember one time I had just came back home from New York and it was like kind of late. I was like 11 and he was like, I want to see you, like, will you drive over here? And I was like, I was gonna do it. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna. And then like I started thinking, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, what the heck? You should be driving to me. Oh no! And then he did end up driving. He did end up driving to me. Yeah, because I was like, I don't know what the heck. Like, yeah, he did end up driving to me, but I shouldn't have had to ask. Like, what? That's weird. So my first like real long term relationship, I think I dated him because like I was young, he was young too, so that's why like I don't he did some pretty crappy things. So did I. We both did pretty crappy things to each other. And from what I've heard, he seems really happy, and I'm happy for him, and I'm glad for him. And sorry, Joel's moving the tripod. Joel Bean. So, but we were like young, and I was going through like a really crappy time in my life at the time, and he was very nice to me, and we had a dog together, and okay, get on the bed. And yeah, like I think we did love each other in like the sense that like it was young love, and we did move, like we lived in like two places together, and I think it taught both of us a lot, especially more so him just because he was younger. And I think I feel like the reason we were together is to like see like what we don't want in someone, and it kind of like I also, okay, not what we don't want in someone, but I want to say it kind of like made us grow up and realize like, okay, we can't be doing this, we need to be better at this. Like it made the relationship made both of us into better people, you know what I mean? This last relationship, um I feel like the reason I dated him was because he was, honestly, I was love bombed, I will say. Like, this man stayed in my house for 3 days after our first date. And it's also on me for not like telling him to leave. Because again, I was love bombed. I was like, oh my God, this guy wants to stay at my house. So cute. Yeah, he stayed at my house. Like, yeah. And he didn't leave unless he had work in the gym and stayed at my house. Crazy that I allowed that as well, considering he was 26 at the time. But I think I dated him because he was, honestly, his physique. He's very built, which I was like, what? I've never really dated anybody who had like such a nice physique, and he's very good looking. And I was just, I think I want to say like more so kind of lust in the beginning, and then as like time went on, like I did like start to really like him, and essentially fall in love with him, I guess. Joel. Oh my gosh. So my phone died. And while I was charging, I did my hair. Or, okay, I didn't do it. I brushed it out and did my makeup because, like I said, I have a hair appointment in like an hour. Anyways, back to the part of the podcast where I said, like, why did I even date him? Um, I think I just said that, like, with the last guy, like, essentially, like, started to fall more and more. And I truthfully, I mean, I could tell you why because, I mean, I did say that in the beginning I was kind of love bomb, and I was. Like, I said he stayed over like right after he didn't leave, and then like he was just so nice, and the things he would say and the things he would do, and I guess it was a lot more different from the last guy that I was with, the one who hit his baby, whereas like he was like wanting me to drive and all this stuff, where this guy didn't. He was doing things in a way for me, like um he was the one driving me. He was like just like, I don't know, it was a lot different from compared to the last guy. And I think when the last kind of thing with the previous guy ended, it was like in April, and I met this guy in like late May. So there wasn't like that long. It was like a month and a half maybe before I like really got into it with him. And like I think 2 weeks after we're hanging out, he asked me to be his girlfriend. And then he like told me he loved me. Like everything was like he was the one initiating it. When we first started talking, it wasn't, I did, but then like he kind of like rejected me or rejected what I was suggesting, and then like texted me again, and like, but he above all else, like, to be like in a relationship, and the I love yous were his doing, just for it to be like taken away. So yeah. So to like not justify staying with somebody of that sort, because you shouldn't. It all just comes down to like what you're willing to put up with. And I also want to make this very clear. No matter how many times you go back and everything, it's never your fault, unless of course you are partaking in, unless it's both of y'all being, messed up. But if you just keep taking someone back because you love them, it's not your fault. That just shows how good of a person you are and how much love you have inside of yourself to be willing to forgive somebody on that sort of level, you know what I mean? And Like I don't even really have a true reason as to why I justified being with somebody for that long who clearly did not like me. Like there was nothing that this person did that like and I will stand by this. I will die on this hill. That man, that boy did not like me. I don't care how many times he said he loved me. I don't care how many times he complimented me. He did not like me one bit. And it's very confusing for me because like and as women it's very hard because how do you stay with somebody that you just don't even like? Like why are you here? Why are you coming back? What do you want? You know what I mean? And I think each time he came back because he left me like 4 or 5 times and came back that many times. So it just I mean I feel stupid saying that. I feel so embarrassed, but whatever. Um it essentially like it did get better for a bit and then it just like ended up going back to what the same it was. I cannot justify or give you a reason as to why I stayed for that long because it was just the same thing every time he left. It was the same fight. It was the same thing that he was not changing. It was ridiculous. It was the same fight. The same fight meaning it was him following girls, random girls, and their likes. Not posting me. And his reasoning was because I don't post on social media. Don't ever believe a man when he says that. Please. Clock that T right then and there. I didn't. I was like, okay, no, don't do that. Don't do that. If that is what, like, a non-negotiable for you, and it's nothing crazy either. Like, if this guy is your boyfriend and he says he loves you and he's living in your house rent-free, he better post you. Like, it took he posted me twice in the entirety of this whole like 9th month craziness. And you know when he posted me? In November and in Valentine's Day. No, then it was 3 times. Okay, well he deleted Valentine's Day because we that's when he left me. But these last 2 times were the last time we got back together and he finally like was like, okay, I'll do it. No, do not put up with this. Please, I beg of you. Let's talk about um what happens after. Say you are going through the same thing possibly as I am or I was. Um what happens after? What happens after the breakup truly sometimes can truly tell you so much about this person, like about a person. The person and it's not always true like I said because some people mourn their relationships during and they're not the bad person like it's they're mourning it because they just this person's the person they're dating is horrible and they're like already like I don't want to be with this person and they're mourning them through the relationship and they are moved on once they get out but that's not always the case. um for me after the breakup I cried a lot but I feel the first time he left I cried so much more. I don't know why. I had only known him for like 2 months. I don't know why I cried but I think I didn't cry as much as the official breakup because I've done this dance. I honestly called it when he started being like mean to me when we lived together. He was just being mean and odd and I remember I told my friend I was like I have a feeling like this isn't gonna last. We're gonna break up. Like he's just being weird. By weird I mean he was being mean like and I didn't tell anybody any of this except my friend because I did not want them to view him differently. But that right there tells you everything too. Like, I didn't want my family to think he was a bad guy. But who does these things to the person that they love? Like, I remember I came home one time and I was tired. I had to drive all the way over here because we lived about like an hour out. And I had an event. I was wearing makeup and tight clothes and I had a crown on my head. My head hurt. I came home and I was like, let me lay down and rest before I have to before I clean the apartment and take care of the dogs. And I remember he was in the living room and the bed we were at, like I could see the outside. And I'm on my phone, right? He looks in the room and he's like, are you on your phone? And I was like, yeah. Like, hmm? He straight up yells or says out loud, you're so effing annoying. And then sits back down. So I get up and I'm like, what's your problem? Like I just got home. Like And he was just like, all I want to do is hang out with my girlfriend and la 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 la. I haven't seen you all day. And I was like, then why didn't you just say that? Why do you need to be ugly to me? Like, mind you, this dude is 27, older than me. Like, come on. Yeah, that was one thing that a lot of lies, a lot of things that were coming to the surface. Like the day that we moved in together, I found out so many things that he lied to me about from months ago. And it was months ago, but it still hurt as if it happened the day before or the day of. Like, why do y'all lie? Why? And then like a couple days after we moved in together, I find out that he is still legally married. Did not think once to mention this to me. And this was his response. I cannot make this up. I literally asked him, like, why didn't you tell me this? Like, this is not something you're like, oh, I'll wait to hold off on. It's like when somebody has a baby, like, oh, I'll just wait to tell you. No, what? He straight up told me, I didn't think we'd last this long. Again, that is not something you wait to see if you're gonna last with somebody to tell them. Like that's something you say something from the jump. Like I don't know that many people who want to be with somebody who's still legally married. Like that, and he had many times to tell me and he didn't. So that was another thing he lied to me about. Yeah. But like I said, he was just being mean and I I don't think from when we first started dating, he was the busy one and he was the one always gone. I was always kind of like waiting up for him, whereas at that time he was kind of like waiting up for me. And I don't think he liked it very much. I don't think he was very like I said, how he said, all I want to do is just hang out with my girlfriend. I think there's a nicer way to say that. Like there's no like he just didn't know how to handle his emotions, I guess. And he's also not a very an emotionally intelligent person. There's no shade or tea. This is me like speaking facts. Like this is true. So yeah, I yeah, it was just not. I just kind of knew, and the way he did it as well was not very nice either. It was honestly, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but for the time that he did it, it was very like, oh, okay, cool, I guess. But it did lead me to realize a lot. Like it led me to I grew a lot in the sense like now I'm very picky about who I date and who I talk to and who I waste my energy on. A lot of people, okay, I won't say a lot of people, I will say like relationship wise and talking wise, not a lot. It's very rare that people who have access to me. It is very rare. I mean, I hang out with the same people, like my sister, my friend, like it's the same people all the time. Um, if you ever see me, if I'm ever seen with somebody that's a guy, it's because they they're pretty nice. They're not, you know, there's a lot of things that are very non-negotiable for me from the jump. Like if a guy were to text me and be like, "Hey, do you want to hang out?" I'd be like, sure. What do you have planned?" Because I this this guy specifically I'm talking about, he did ask me on a date, but I was like, "Okay, like what do you want?" He texted me and was like, "Oh, I'm free tomorrow if you want to hang out." And I was like, "Okay, what do you want to do?" He's like, "I don't know, whatever you want." Now that's like a no for me. Like, no, you better come planned with something, especially if you are the one texting me, asking me out. You better be like, let's go to a movie, let's go to dinner, let's go do something. Like, no, you are not gonna have me decide. You're crazy. So that's like a non-negotiable for me now. Another thing is I'm going to make my boundaries very clear, and if you cannot respect them and try to overstep them, you're done. Like, I am not going to be settling and lowering my standards for anybody else again because that's what I kept doing. I kept telling him what I didn't like and he kept doing it and I just kept like brushing it off. Like I kept like, well, if you do it again, if you do it again, and he kept doing it again and I never really did anything, which is sense in the sense I'm assuming why he kept, thinking he could come back because he did. I let him. So I learned that. Also, I learned if somebody threatens to break up with you, bye. Do not do it. Because this man also threatened to break up with me every time we had an argument. We had a disagreement. It was ridiculous. And I should have, my friend even told me, she's like, you tell him, like, if you threaten this to break up one last time, like, I'm going to say yes, and that's it. We're done. Like, I'm not, and I did tell him that, and then He broke up with me, and that was like really it. But yeah, I did have to have a talk with him about that. I was like, if you threaten to break up with me again, I am going to agree with you, and I'm going to pack my stuff and I'm going to leave, because that's like, it's what's manipulative. Like, it's such a hold. You have like, it's like you putting a hold on somebody, and it's ugly. Like, no. And I learned, like, what did I learn? I learned that I'm not really a bad person. I had good intentions coming into this, and I still have good intentions coming out. Like, there is not really one bad thing that he can say about me, that any of these guys, besides the first boyfriend, can really say about me. Like, they can say I'm crazy. And you know what? I am. And I learned also to not crash out. I I did crash out on this last guy. Well deserved, long overdue, I will say. But it was better for me to just have left without causing damage. Um, I don't regret it, but I will not do it again, because it made me feel a lot more like stressed out than good, if anything. And you know what I mean? That's like another, that's just one bad thing he can say about me. Oh, she's crazy. She did this. Okay, well, what did you do? Is the real question. But yeah, that's what I've learned. I'm still learning, and yeah. Hi guys. So my storage got full yesterday, and it stopped my video, or the day before, and it stopped my video. So we're continuing it today. It's Sunday. It is so like gloomy outside. I'm hoping for rain. And yeah, we're gonna continue with what we're talking about, which is like crazy boy stories. I think I last left on like what I learned, and I think I said a pretty good amount. I think like the next topic would probably like be what I would do differently, and what do I do after breakups. I go on trips, and I rearrange my room. If you are in the same, if you were ever like in, you shared like a space with this person, I would consider rearranging your room around, because for me, I know like it used to be like very hard, and I couldn't, like, I have to like change, even if it's something small, like move your room, move your bed to the other side of the room, like move your clothes, move a small thing, like just things like that. And I just go out. It kind of sounds, I try to, I think I've said it before, like my ins and outs and like things I've done differently this year, which is like starting like to take working out seriously and running. So that's another thing. What to not do not sleep with people right after, because as much as you may say and may think like, oh, it's not, I can do it, like it doesn't mean anything. Like, I promise you, I've had that mindset before, and I've done it, and I honestly just felt like absolute crap after. So if that's one thing I can tell you that you would take away from this video, is don't do that, because you will subconsciously, big or small, feel terrible about yourself. And you shouldn't, but it's just like, like you're getting over somebody, things like that. I'm taking my glasses off because this glare is bothering me. What else? What would I do differently, or how would I approach like breakups differently? If I've seen this quote everywhere, and I live by it now. You don't want someone who comes back. You want someone who never leaves. Like, it's so heartbreaking to think about that, like, somebody has to realize in your absence how much they love being in your presence. Like, no, it shouldn't take that. Like, for me, I know that did happen a lot, and I did take that person back, and it, now I'm like, no, I don't want somebody who comes back. I know some people think it's like, oh, like they always come back. They do always come back, don't get me wrong, but don't take them back. Don't do it, because you don't know what they've done, what they did during that time, and they can lie about it, because believe me, they did. And in my head, like, I just feel, I mean, if they do change it, it turns out to be a different outcome, then yeah. But at the end of the day, at least for me, I know I looked stupid. So you don't want somebody who I don't, with the wisdom that I have to approach is, if somebody leaves, like if somebody were to break up with me, I'd be like, okay, I'm like never talking to you again, whether it ended on good terms or bad terms, like amicably or not. I just, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't consider wanting to speak to that person anymore with how much, like, you guys have built up together, like, memories. Also, don't let a man tell you twice he doesn't want you. I live by that. Do not. If he tells you once he don't want you, even if he tells you, shows you, no, don't do it. Do not do it. Let's talk about what red flags to look for in anybody. It could be a man, a woman, anybody, because these qualities do not just stop with men. But for me, red flags looking for in a man would be if they've been married before, if they have children. I hate to be that way, but no. If they call their ex crazy, if they're like, she's crazy. What did you do? What did you do that made her crazy? If they are Republican or like voted for Trump. I have like let that slide before, and I'm not doing that anymore, because that just obviously shows how much they respect you as a woman. What else? Social media, as much as it sucks and I hate to say it, it doesn't matter, but it does at the end of the day, and it's here to stay. So we might as well like learn to deal with it. If you have a man who, one, from the jump, like, one red flag that like I know, follows a bunch of random girls, like doesn't know them, just follows them. And we're not stupid, guys. We know why you follow these women. We know. That's one red flag I wouldn't ignore. Now, if you were to express this like because some people are okay with it, which is great, but if you were to express this like boundary, or like this, that you don't like it, and they immediately like unfollow them, like, don't do that, okay, that's different. If they don't, like, that just shows they have no care or respect for you. They don't care about your boundaries. They don't care about what makes you upset, because they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep doing what upsets you, and they don't care. They don't care. They're not going to not. You know what I mean? If you express your feelings and it becomes an argument, that man is not emotionally intelligent enough for you. And if they continue to think like it's you attacking them, because in reality, in relationships, it shouldn't be you versus them. It should be you guys versus the problem. Y'all should be working together to fix it. And if it's a problem that keeps happening repeatedly because of them, obviously they don't care about you enough. Unfortunately, it has to be said, they're never going to change, and you need to leave. You need not put up with that. You need to like put your foot down and be like super disciplined. As much as it sucks, as much as you may like this person, love this person, you need person you need to love most is you. So yeah, if they continue to put themselves in this position where it becomes a problem 24/7, no, they're not for you. They're not for anybody, but they will probably find someone to settle for their behavior. But yeah, that's a red flag I look out for sure. Like I said, if they're not emotionally intelligent, if they love bomb you, you will know when they love bomb you too. Because like I said, men are simple creatures. You know when they like you, you know when they don't. We just choose to ignore these signs. Don't ignore the signs. Don't ignore the red flags. Do not be like Sabrina Carpenter. If I cover one eye, it's almost like your red flags are blue. No, we're not doing that this year. We're not. Another red flag is if people tell you about them, believe them most of the time. Because I've had instances where people are like, no, I've heard about him, he's blah blah blah, and you're like, no, he's not like that, he doesn't seem like that. Believe them, because most of the time it's true. Do not ignore other people's if you ask him about it and he gives you like a good explanation, it sounds like a good explanation, okay, but yeah, don't Don't ignore the signs. Don't ignore the red flags. If someone tells you like something super incriminating about him, I had seen some guy, and I was seeing him for a good minute, and then someone really close to me is like, he did yada yada yada, and I was like, I didn't know. He told me that there was something about an ex-wife. I was like, no, I didn't know that. So he told me a whole different story. Yeah, I cut it off right then and there. I was like, okay, no, we're not doing this, because last time I ignored this, it ended up where I'm at. So don't do it. Even if it turns out for the other person to be lying, it's better to be safe than sorry. And it's, for my situation, the thing that they told me was very like domestic violence type business. So it's, yeah, I'd rather just like be wrong and lose out on somebody than to not believe this person and stay with them or stay talking to them and something bad ends up happening to me. You know what I mean? Trust your gut. I'm going to be talking about the worst and best things an ex has done for me. Okay, best thing. We're going to start off nice here. Got me Harry Styles tickets. Downside, I did have to like beg for them. Like, what? You should want to make me happy. What the heck? Especially after I had bought that person concert tickets. Another thing they've done was buy me the limited edition Wicked Shark Black style hairstyling tool, which they ended up taking back because they were mad that I didn't let them take something that wasn't even mine. My grandmother bought it. She bought like the shower rod and like the hooks and like the shower liner, not the curtain. I had another curtain, but like they were about to take it, and I was like, that's not yours. It's not even mine. It's my grandma's. And when I told them like to put it back, they were like, well, can I have the shark thing? And I was like, you want that? I was like, okay, here. I shouldn't have given it back, but I was just like, I'm not arguing with you. I don't even want to converse with you, but here, you want to be a big baby. Worst things. Worst thing is left me stranded in a city with no way home and no care in the world that my animals are in the apartment. No way for me to get into the apartment because I didn't bring my key because it was on my car keys and we went in that person's car. So I had no way to get in. Like this was like before, like a little bit before they broke up with me too. But they just like stopped sharing the location, took me off everything, like, and then proceeded to break up with me after like an hour after. I didn't hear from them they didn't come home for 2 days, even though they had work. They had an exam. Didn't come home. I didn't hear from them. I was like, what if they were dead? And I had no clue. That is probably like one of the worst things an ex has done for me. There's another one, but I can't say. But recently that was pretty shitty, I will say. And never spoke to me again. Kicked me out and never spoke to me again. So that's pretty shitty. Okay, guys, I don't want to say it was like a sad episode, but it was like talking about like kind of sad, crappy things. I'm ending this in a lighthearted way. I hope everybody may have learned something from this. I know I definitely have, and I'm still learning. There's always room for growth for everybody. For the dumper, the dumpy, there's always room for growth. It's just how you react to things and how you act in general. So please take this advice. Like, don't let somebody get such a big rise out of you. Don't do things to be petty. And I'm saying this as somebody who's done these things before. Don't go back to, oh my god, the sun is like sunning today. Don't go back to what hurt you. Do not. As much as it's painful, like, to admit, to say, don't do it. It's only going to lead you down the same road you are. It is very rare when it's a different outcome. I've seen people on TikTok where they're like, oh yeah, we got back together after months or years and we ended up getting married and they changed. That's rare. No, that's not always. Let the delusion wear off. And this is coming from somebody who loves being delusional. I love it. But my delusion just wore off yesterday. Like, don't do it. Believe someone when they show you who they truly are the first time. Do not sit around and be like, I can change them. I hope this teaches you all the right things and you learned what to look for, good and bad, in somebody. And I hope you enjoyed my crazy bit, because even though it wasn't funny at the time, it's funny now. Sometimes. Sometimes it's funny. Um, yeah. And always remember to go into things with good intentions. That's always the best thing, to go in with good intentions, because when you get out of it, no matter what the outcome is, you know that you're a good person because you went in with great intentions. You didn't go in with mean, cruel intentions, with hoping to get something out of it. Like, no. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I am going to start posting like regularly, like consistently, because I've just been not on my A game. Like starting tomorrow, I'm not gonna be lazy. If you guys are the Last of Us watchers, I'm uploading this on a Sunday. I hope you guys enjoy episode 5, I believe, tonight. And I hope you guys stay busy. Bye. This ugly thing, guys, it looks like a mole, but it's not. I was cooking chicken and the oil splashed on me and I didn't think it looked that bad. Joel's super sleepy today, but he's excited for episode 5 tonight. Right, Joel? And she's here to say goodbye and don't trust these men.